Early Access. I'm Katie Whitlock. I'm here with Braden and Lydia. It is so nice to have you both here. Thank you for being here.
Of course. It's good to be here.
It is lovely to meet both of you. I have never met either of you before. I don't think we've ever crossed paths before, right? Mm-hmm. This is the first time all of us are talking. Okay. Sometimes I say something like that, and it turns out I have met that person before.
Oh, I was at your teaching.
So I wanted to double check. But I'm going to ask you... I'm real excited about today because you guys we have a 3 and a 9, which is me and my fiance, but we're gender swapped today. Mm-hmm. So I'm a 3, my fiance is a 9, and Braden, you're a 3, and Lydia, you're a 9. So I'm real excited to get into that. Sorry for everyone else listening, but that's all we're going to talk about today. Yeah. First, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves. Braden, I'll have you go first. If you could tell the people a little bit about who you are, what you do, how old you are. Mm-hmm. And then I also asked people to kind of talk about how they got into the Enneagram, how they picked it up, like how you knew you were a 3, right? Did you know right away? Things like that.
Yeah. My name's Braden Swanson. I grew up in Washington State, Pacific Northwest through and through. I'm the second oldest in my family. I have a lot of siblings. That's usually the first thing people need to know about me. To understand me more is what's my family structure. And so I've got a mixed big family. And I'm 25 right now. I'm married to my wife, Lydia. We've been married since 2022. And I am a history teacher in a small village on the Kuskokwim River in western Alaska. I live in a village called Antioch. And we moved out here last August, and we've been out here ever since. Cool. I'll talk about Enneagram in just a second. If Lydia, you want to intro first?
Yeah, I'm Lydia Swanson. I grew up in rural Alaska, and I'm an only child. Yeah, my parents were teachers, so we moved to Alaska because they taught. And yeah, Braden and I met in college in Washington State. I'm not a teacher, but I'm just staying at home right now. But word is I'm trying to open up the public library here in Antioch.
Ooh, yeah. Cool. A dying breed, the library, and we need them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. What does that entail, trying to open up a public library? What do you have to do?
So it's like the city's working on it right now. They have to apply for grants, and the grants have to get approved. And then it's just like a long process. And Alaska itself is just very slow, like to respond to things and get things moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a long process. And I have, I got my minor in library science, and so I am very passionate about libraries and, just information. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what you're doing.
If I could brag on Lydia for a second, she's been like writing emails and letters to City Hall, asking for like, where's the progress on this? I want to get this open. Yeah. We need some sort of space in our community. Been trying to like petition them to get grants. Trying to like get a third space in our village because there's pretty much the school and the grocery store.
Yeah.
And outside. And so, it's been pretty cool. I'll come home and Lydia will say, hey, so I sent another email to City Hall. And I'm just like,
good for you, girl.
Cool. But she probably wouldn't brag like that.
No, of course. I have an Enneagram question already.
Mm-hmm.
Lydia, I know. So like I said, my fiance's a 9. My sister's also a 9. And I know that to them, there is some potential that like emailing people and like all that would feel like conflict to them, or even just like the energy it would have to take to stay on top of something like that is a lot, right? Did you also deal with it? Do you find it hard as well?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I have like some experience with like reaching out to people and like in past jobs and stuff, and so I've worked on it a lot. It's not like it's like a familiar nervousness, you know, where it's like it's not like a brand new like scary thing. It's like, okay, I've done this before and it does make me nervous for like potential conflict, but it's like it'll probably be fine. And it does take me a day or two to work up the nerve to actually do it.
Yeah. Do you rewrite your emails a lot before you send them? Or are you good at, like, you just write them and you send them?
I rewrite them usually a couple times. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I asked Braden, "Is this sound good?" And he usually says yes, because I've thought about it too much, maybe.
Right. That's what I find when I look over what Jace has written already. Like, he's already thought about everything I could say. You know what I mean? There's only a few things that I'll kind of point out because you guys are good at kind of thinking through all the options and everything like that. But
Yeah.
anyways, okay, how we got into the Enneagram. Braden, you said you were gonna talk about that as well.
I was in college. I started college in 2018, and then COVID, of course, in 2020.
Right.
And there's some point between that where I was kind of like, I was learning more about who I was, right? Like, one of my favorite things that Lydia and I joke about a lot is that Tolkien in Lord of the Rings has people as like teenagers, and like they're not quite adults until they're like 30. And so I'm like I'm like understanding more about myself. And one of my best friends at the time, who was also my roommate, he was like, Braden, I've got to tell you about this system to help you understand the world. And so there's this podcast we had listened to called Love Thy Neighborhood. And it's stories. It's kind of like long form journalism stories. They were the ones who did the podcast called the Enneacast, which some listeners might be familiar with.
Yeah.
And I really respect a lot of what they did. They helped spread it. I think that I found Around the Circle after them, and I felt a lot sharper after I was listening to Around the Circle. But Enneacast, like, it whet my palate for self-discovery. So I was like, I'm just going to do the test then. And Tim's like, no, we don't do that here. We're going to go number by number. And then we're going to, he asked me, he said, which of these three emotions do you feel the most? Is it fear? Is it shame? Or is it anger?
Anger.
And I immediately was like, not anger and not quite fear. So I'll go shame. And then he said, sweet, there's only three to talk about now. Do you think you're 2? And then he read the fear and the desire of the 2. And then the fear and the desire of the 3, the fear and the desire of the 4. And I went, 2s are probably the most likable on this entire list. Because 3s just seem like egomaniacs, and 4s just seem like this emotional wreck. And I feel like I'm really nice. So I'm going to be a 2. And then I slowly start to try to morph myself into the shape of a 2. Yep. And when you try to do that, there's a lot of this like friction and a lot of emotions and frustration and self-criticism comes out. And I would see, there's this one thing that some Enneagram 2s in my life do where they they make a list of every favor they've done for you and like eventually cash it in. And I'm like, I just hate it when that happens. And Tim goes, that's something that 2s do. Do you do that? I was like, I don't think so. And then we look at it again, and he goes, I think you're a 3. And then I start thinking, and I'm like, oh, I guess I have been like a high level wrestler for since I was 3. And I do a lot of like high achieving things. And if someone's wearing the same shirt as me, I'll go home and change shirts so that I'm not matching them. And I go, maybe I am a 3. And then I was I think the way I got into it was I was infatuated with the idea that I could know who I was. And like I could know the truth about who I was and eventually find that. And I mistakenly thought I was a 2. That got corrected like in a week. And then I've been a 3 ever since. Yeah. And I'm pretty confident.
That's funny. I had the same, except it wasn't fast. I was a 2 for like 2 years. And then I think people have heard this story, but my mother was a 2, and we were at a Enneagram event actually, and they were talking about 2s, and I just was like, it was something about how Suzanne Stabile will talk about 2s as cloying, like they're too sweet. And like that's the unhealthy side of 2, and I was like, I hate it when people do that. And my mom, who's an actual 2, was like, okay, I don't think that I think that's a pretty good sign that you're not a 2. So then we figured out that I was a 3. But the same thing. It's crazy how fast we can go, I want to be that, and then just make ourselves into that. Even though it doesn't really work, obviously.
And I think as 3s we actually suffer for it. we think it's going to be better, and we
Absolutely.
just believe that lie.
Yes.
It's better if
Yeah.
I'm a 4 because I know how bad it is to be a 3, and I
Right.
don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 3 is the truth, and I don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, Lydia, what about you? How'd you get into it?
Yeah, my freshman year of college, one of my friends was like, I really love the Enneagram. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what that is. And so we were hanging out, and she brought, I don't remember what the book was called. It was like the massive, like really thick Enneagram book.
Personality types?
Wisdom.
Maybe
Something,
it's
doesn't
like,
matter.
I think it was
yeah,
wisdom.
probably. But it was like a huge book. And she was like, you're going to take this test. And it was like it wasn't like the normal stereotypical test that we know about.
Right.
It was like the AB one of like different scenarios.
Yeah. I bet it was wisdom then. Yeah.
Yeah. And at first I was just like looking over all of them, and she was like, which one do you think you would be? And I was looking at them. I was like, I think maybe a 5, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, I'm quiet. I am an introvert. I prefer my alone time, so I must be a 5 probably.
Sure.
And also she was a 5, so I was like, well, you're my friend. We must be the same. And so I took the test, and it said I was a 9, and I was like, oh, cool. And then I looked at it, and I'm like, yeah, this is true. And then I didn't think about it for like a year.
Right. The usual. That's most people's story.
Yeah. And it probably wasn't until I became friends with Braden and like some of his friends who were like really into it, where I was like looking into it more, learning more about the Enneagram, and just, yeah, learn more about myself through it, and became an, I don't know, pseudo expert, I guess.
Cool.
Yeah.
Fun. Okay, so to get kind of into the 3-9 dynamic, when you guys think about your relationship, how do you think that shows up in really good ways in your relationship? And by that, I mean, how do you think you balance each other out well? Or I guess I should say, do you balance each other out? And how so?
Yeah, I mean, just like, I think just like our strengths and weaknesses, like, balance really well together.
Mm-hmm.
And even like outside of the Enneagram, like, he's a lot more extroverted, I'm more introverted, but also as a 3, he's very much a good cheerleader for me. And
Yeah.
I think I need that sometimes. I need the like encouragement. And yeah, I think we're also pretty laid back. I'm laid back, and he is more laid back now than he used to be.
Word.
And so we're just like, yeah, I think that's a huge pro for the 3 and 9, is that we're not, what's the word? We're not high strung people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Lydia, when you say he's your cheerleader and that you think you need that, talk a little more about that. Why do you think you need a cheerleader? And what does it mean for Braden to be your cheerleader? Like, how does he do that?
I think I think I have a lot of self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like gotten a lot better as I've gotten older, but it's still like, it's just like a part of me, I think.
Sure.
And Braden is very much like, he sees all of the like the strengths that I have when I don't see that. And I think he just values people who are high achieving, and he thinks that I am high achieving too, even when I don't notice it. And so he, I mean, like he did earlier, he's like, can I just brag about Lydia for a second?
Right.
And I'm just like,
very sweet.
and I'm just like, sure. And he does
Yeah,
that.
go ahead.
I feel like it's not a rare occurrence that he does that.
Mm-hmm.
And so he always like cheers me on. And if I'm ever like, yeah, I'm kind of like passionate about this, he was like, go do it. I'll make it happen. And yeah, he just helps. He helps with like getting the inertia to do something. Like if I express an interest, a lot of the times I'm like, oh yeah, that's an interest. And then I like, maybe I don't do anything about it for a bit, or I just like think about it and don't do anything. But he helps like actually putting things into action.
Start it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I understand. And when you say you have self-doubt,
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people experience self-doubt, right? But it can be about so many different things. So what do you doubt about yourself? Like your ability to do it, or the ability if you're the best person for it, or
Mm-hmm.
all of the above, or what?
Yeah, I think probably all of the above. Just like there's a part of me like afraid of failure, or I just like I want to get things done perfectly the first time. And I know that's not how life works.
Sure.
um, but there's always a part of me that's like, I want anything that I do, I want to do it the correct way, which is probably like one wing influence of my Enneagram 1 mother. Or it's just like the perfections side of
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Braden's really good at trying new things, even if like he's not good at it at first, or if he like fails the first time. He's really good at just like putting himself out there of like, I want to learn how to do this even if I fail. I want to learn how to do this even if I might not do it perfectly the first time.
Right. I think that's great. You go ahead and respond to that, Braden, and then I have a question for you.
Yeah, I think totally. Yeah, hit the nail on the head. I think that where I've where I think we work really well together is that my stress line to a 9 is super uncomfortable to me, of course. And
Right.
it was really scary to know like what to do when I'm there. Some wise people say like that you have tools at the stress side of your number that you should use for like there's a high side to your stress. And I said, "Hey Lydia, what do you do when I'm stressed as a 9 and like I feel like a 9? What should I do?" And she said, "I don't know, probably just rest. Sit down, take off your shoes." And
What do you mean?
I went, "But how should I do that?" She's like, "Well, what do you want for dinner? Make that and then put down your phone and then rest." I feel that I can pull her in her comfort into her stress or into her threes. And like, if what she really needs is this inertia, then I have plenty of inertia. I can give her a little
Right.
bit, or at least I can ensure that she can give herself inertia.
Yes.
And she does. And so I think we meet on the lines a lot. Yeah, I would say our relationship is pretty easygoing, pretty relaxed, because it's this atmosphere of like comfort and like you're good here. You get to take off your shoes. You don't need to be on the silver screen. And then I'm constantly moving towards the goal. And so I'm creating a space of like we can be successful and we can be good and we can do what's like we can do things. And so we have a very comfortable, successful like bubble around us that we try to pull people into. Yeah, come take off your shoes, tell us about your dreams. And I think those are places where our relationship really shines.
As a side note, the line "come take off your shoes, tell us about your dreams" is baller, by the way.
Thank you.
That's like
Thank you.
that is like the perfect encapsulation of a 3-9 relationship. That is crazy. I want
Thank
to
you.
put that
Yeah.
like on a quilt or something. That was crazy. That's how it feels. That literally is how it
Yeah.
feels. That is so true. That is so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about the pros of how 3 and 9 fit really well together. Came up with an incredible line. So I want to hear about how the cons of a 3 and a 9. What's hard because you're a 3 and a 9, you're in a relationship together.
Yeah. I think that one of the hard things is Lydia has positive spin of a 9, and then I have like spinning failures into successes, or at least like making it like a failure that's wrapped in gold. And when there is conflict or things that come up, we just don't talk about it because like it hits that soft spot and that fear. Like, you know, if I'm late or I don't do something that I said I did, and like us threes are always trying to have better integrity, and my integrity is like flawed. Should we bring that up? Is it going to harm our relationship? Am I going to be embarrassed? And so that's been one thing that that's been the main focus of our relationship is like, how do we bring up the uncomfortable? Because realistically, we don't have to bring up the uncomfortable, and
Sure.
we'd outwardly perform fine until we don't. And then it's too late. And so
Yeah.
that's been one thing I think of is like, we avoid the issue for different reasons.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Lydia, what do you think?
Yeah. I 100% agree. Where I can so easily like see an issue or a potential problem and just be like, actually, it's not that bad. And through that, that's just like avoiding conflict and not like communicating in a healthy way. When in reality, it's like, oh, you see a potential problem, you should probably be brought up and figured out before it becomes real problem.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can deal with real problems because they're right in our face. But it's like the little things that we're really good at avoiding.
So you have to go out of your way to bring it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like ruin the mood.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you say you both need from the other person to be able to feel comfortable bringing something up? First of all, is it even about the other person? Because I asked that question and then I thought about it and was like, not really. But because Jason and I run into that same thing, and I know to just say my 3 answer, I need to know that he's not gonna like judge me or think that I'm stupid or like has like an ugly personality or like anything like that. Like he can like hold whatever I bring to him and not let it like taint his opinion of me. And I trust that he can do that. So it makes it a little easier to bring things up. Braden, I don't know if you would change how I worded that anyway. And then Lydia, I don't know like what you need from Braden to feel comfortable bringing something up.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think that reassurance, because like bringing up conflict is stressful. And
Yeah.
we've given each other reassurances before we have the conversation where I say everything is still good between us. You and I are still married. I still love you. We need to talk about this. Or if Lydia's like, hey, I need to talk to you about this, I'll ask, is there like, are we still okay? And that will like, it's not giving me permission, but it's kind of this idea of how is this conversation going to go? And it gives me the ability to bring my thoughts together. Because the worst thing that I could ever do, I think, is like dance and perform for Lydia. Like I wouldn't I wouldn't want to.
Why do you say that?
Because I want our relationship to be authentic and true and real. And if I'm trying to like dance and like perform for what I believe her expectations are, then she might want to have a conversation about like priorities with work. Braden, do you spend too much time at the school, you think? And if I start overperforming and try and like charm her, that's not what the conversation is. It's not, do you still love me? It's, you are working 50 hours a week at a 40-hour-a-week job. We need to think about this. And that's just an example, but it gives me like maybe a understanding of how I could act and like in order to have an authentic relationship, a true relationship. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, I know for nines, it's like you always need to be assured that your relationship is still gonna be good. But with my like marriage to Braden, it's like we're married. I'm trusting
Yeah,
that
we're
our
good.
relationship's gonna be just fine.
Yeah.
And so it's not even something that
Yeah.
I am worried about when it compared if I had conflict with any other like friendships or relationships, then that is something I'm worried about. But I think something that I like to have is like just space to have those conversations because I can so easily procrastinate any issue and just
Mhm.
not bring it up if there's not like a moment to do it.
Sure.
And it takes a lot of like mental energy for me, I think, to like create that moment, you know?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
One of the things that we have found like makes Lydia more comfortable and myself as well is like in conflict we'll like sit next to each other on the couch and talk
Yeah.
rather than like
No eye contact.
standing and facing, and
Yeah.
it's actually like a lot more like this,
That's a good idea.
um so that there isn't like, you know, threes and nines will deal with like being perceived pretty strongly,
Mhm.
um
Mhm.
and I'm asking how does Lydia see me, and she's asking how does Braden see me, and that might not be the point of this.
Right.
So we've actually
Right.
physically sat next to each other to help with conflict resolution and talking,
Mhm.
rather than resorting to however our parents would fight and talk. Yeah.
Right. 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 Lydia, I know Jace has told me before that he also feels more comfortable bringing things up to me sooner than he would
Mhm.
normally because he trusts that I won't like freak out.
Mhm.
Like that I won't blow things out of proportion, and that like if he brings a conflict to me, I'll like handle it with the right level of intensity that it requires, right?
Mhm.
Probably, which means not much.
Yeah.
Is that important to you as well, would you say? Like trusting that someone's not going to freak out if you do bring something to them?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like that like just yeah. Yeah, I just like brought
That's
up a
all.
lot of like thoughts about like my past because like my
Yeah.
mom is Enneagram 1 and she just has like a lot of like reactions that are very big. And
Yes.
as a 9, I'm just like I don't know if this is like worth all of this energy. And
Sure.
I do know that Braden usually reacts appropriately to certain things. And what are you looking at?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job.
Gold star.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't blow things out of proportion. And I think all all like the friendships I have are people who don't blow things out of proportion. All like my closest friends are
Mhm.
like that. I'm now realizing, which is funny.
Yeah. Not a lot of high
Yeah.
strung.
That's what you value.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. So I'll tell you something else that Jason and I to talk about, another thing that's hard between a 3 and a 9. I'll see if you guys relate. Is our you kind of already talked about it, but our energy for doing is so different. And by that I mean I sign off on a decision probably way too quickly and Jace signs off on a decision way too slowly. Like for me.
Yeah.
Right? Like he'll take weeks and weeks to think about something and it literally is hard for me to take more than maybe 30 seconds to think about something because I want it to be done. So when we have to make a big decision, like, oh, his car just broke down, so we have to buy a new car. And how long do we research new cars before we do it? Or a new house, how many houses do we look at, right? Whatever, all the things. Do you all see that in your relationship too?
Yeah. I think I notice it more of like if someone's like, hey, can I like come over and hang out tonight? Usually Braden's just like, yes, 100%. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
hang on. And think about this. Do we have
Wait.
plans already? Also, what does the whole week look like? Can we, I
Yeah.
mean, maybe it's just me where I'm just like, do I have this social energy for something tonight? And like, I don't know, maybe I need to be more social. But I know that Braden tends to say yes to those pretty quickly. And
Yeah.
it hasn't like been an issue, but it's just like a funny thing in my brain.
Yeah, I
Sure.
think I'm pretty conservative on how much I think things will, like energy, how much energy situations will take. And I think Lydia's more liberal on how much energy something will take.
Yeah.
And so the thought of like making dessert
and having our neighbors come over and like hang out. We did that 2 days ago. To me, I was like, well, this is probably going to take about an hour to make some like apple crisp, and then we'll probably hang out for like an hour or two, and then we'll like get ready for bed. And then like that, my thought process, the signing off is like, is it doable? Then I'll do it. But I think that in our relationship, there's been things that I am like able to sign off and just like, let's get this done. And there's other things where I not only do I like need Lydia's input, but I actually like I really value it, and it's better to have her
Yeah,
ideas.
agreed.
And so I would do a lot of the front loading, and people who have listened to the podcast know like if you give a 9 multiple options, it's going to be a lot better because they don't have to think about every perspective if you're only asking them to think about these 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
So I can
Mm-hmm.
think about 5 different things we can have for dinner like that. And I know, like,
Mm-hmm.
here's 5
Mm-hmm.
things that we could have for dinner. What do you want? Or, hey, I'm feeling like we should either have tacos or breakfast. You pick, you pick. And she
Yeah.
does. And it's great. And we're so
Mm-hmm.
much better for that.
Yeah.
And so if it is a quick decision, should I do dishes right now? Or like, how much is this going to cost? Usually it doesn't cost me that much energy in reality. But bigger decisions, if there's anything I can front load, I do, and leave like some of the ultimate decision making to the both of us. She doesn't need to
Right.
think about like what's the best time to go out of all 24 hours.
Right.
She needs to go,
Yeah.
do we have a meeting at 4 or at 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when we were like car shopping, Braden did like a lot of the like research and stuff, figuring out like what kind of car we should get, because this was like the car that we were gonna drive from Washington to Alaska. So we're like, we need specific things for this car,
Right.
and so he did a lot of the research, and then he kind of presented like, hey, we need a vehicle with like all these things, and I was like, okay, I want like these like couple things. And then we went like to a car lot and bought a car there. But it was like he did most of the research, and then I put my input, and then we made the big decision together.
Yeah.
And I think that's how a lot of the decisions happen. Brandon does a lot of the initial research because like all of the research and stuff kind of overwhelms me. And so that's always been very helpful.
It's easy to listen to a podcast while you do dishes for me. But then like Lydia really enjoys sitting on a couch and listening to the podcast and just doing this one thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I like to multitask.
Yeah. We call that I've never actually called it this out loud, but in my head I call that like Jace has like veto power.
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
like I do a lot of upfront work because it doesn't bother me and it doesn't feel like work, right? Like I will be the one changing from 10 options and picking down into 2. And then I present the 2 to Jace, and I trust his instincts I honestly trust his instincts more than I trust mine.
Yeah.
And he gets like total final control over those 2 things because I trust him. You know what I mean? I just know that I couldn't have handed him 10 things.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. And he sees things I don't see, and he notices stuff. He has questions that I don't, but only if he only has to pick between 2 things, you know?
Yeah.
So that's funny. Okay. Do you have any other, before I kind of ask you my wrap up question, do either of you have any like last either pros or cons that you kind of thought about and we didn't get to talk about?
I think that if you are, no, I might give advice to 3s later, but I think that pros of the 9-3 relationship is 9s are very good at helping 3s rest and helping 3s be comfortable with themselves and the constant insecurity of who you are. 9s won't fix that for you, but they'll set you up because they can see you really well. And they don't lie.
Yes.
At least all my 9 friends don't lie.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I totally. Yeah. Put some more. When you say they can teach 3s how to rest, there is some literally physically like sitting on the couch resting part of that, right?
Totally.
But I find that Jace helps me rest in myself. Like he doesn't want me to be any more than who I am, and would be mad if I was, like you said earlier, like would be like, what are you doing? If I all of a sudden started putting on the puppet show in front of him.
Yeah.
So anyway, I don't know if you have more words about that, but it's like resting in your soul almost, you know? Like it's like this very deep, it's a deep rest.
I think there's this, if you've ever gone on a hike and you've been working up these trails and you are like, you're putting it in and you're making great progress. And then you get to a plateau and it looks like just like a normal plateau. But if you've really been going through, you know how sweet it is to be on flat, stable land that you can just sit down and you're not afraid that you're going to fall down the hill if you don't stop climbing. That's what it is that I can rest in knowing that my relationship with Lydia is safe, it's stable. I know that she's going to be honest with me. Like if it's not right now, then eventually we will get moving again. And I'm not in danger. And then Lydia she doesn't say a ton of words all the time, but she talks quite a bit. And when she does speak, it's like truthful and it's impactful and it's powerful.
Yes.
And when she says like, I love you, Braden, that's what I need. Because like we've talked about, I mean, like people have talked about on the podcast, like threes often want to be loved, but they'll settle for applause. And I just don't want to settle for applause in my relationship. And so that type of safe, stable, that rock, that's what I truly desire. And that's what I really want. And that's the type of rest. And I mean, that is the taking off of your shoes. But nobody would take off their shoes in a house that's dangerous or a house that's gross. You would want to get messy. Yeah. And so that's some of my thoughts.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's really, really beautiful. I agree.
Thanks.
Okay. So here's my last. Actually, I have two last questions because Braden brought up advice. I think that's good. So let's have both of you do this. If you meet a new couple and they're a 3 and a 9, right? And they're just starting, say, oh, we just met, we just started dating last week, right? It's very new. What advice would you, Braden, what advice would you give the 3? Lydia, what advice would you give the 9?
Yeah, I mean, this applies to like any relationship for a 9, but I think like if you're in a, long-term relationship where you're like wanting a long-term relationship, I think 9s really need to learn how to advocate for themselves because it's just so easy to just spin anything to be like, oh, it's actually fine. And that can be really dangerous in an unhealthy relationship. And even if you're in a healthy relationship, you need to learn like that you matter, your self-worth matters. And if your partner is not like meeting your expectations, that's like, it's okay to bring that up. It's okay to have expectations, and I mean, they need to be communicated, of course.
Right. Yeah, but you can have them.
Yeah, it's like
for sure.
Don't just take anything. Like have expectations and like hold your like partner to them. And that can be really scary as like a 9 in a new relationship, but I think it's really important for like the long-term success of relationship. And yeah, it's when I was in college, Braden and I think we were engaged at that point, and he did something that really upset me. And so I was talking to one of my friends who is married, and I was like, is this crazy? Should I bring this up? I don't even know if it's worth it. Maybe I'm just like overreacting. And I told her about the situation. She was like, no, you need to bring this up. You're maybe underreacting to this.
Yeah. It would be crazy if you didn't bring it up.
And And she told me, she was like, if like you're gonna marry this person, it's okay to like you are going to be their priority relationship and you need to act like you're their priority relationship. And that kind of like changed how I thought about marriage. Of like, oh, of course. Like Braden's the most important person to me, and obviously I would be the most important person to him. And we need to like treat each other but also hold each other to those expectations. And so for nines that can be kind of hard because it's like if any nine questions himself and is like, am I overreacting to this, the chances are you're actually underreacting to it.
I literally in my life have never seen a 9 overreact to anything.
Yeah.
Literally not one time have I seen that. So I agree with you. That's funny. Okay, that was really good, Lydia. That was really good. I think if Jace were here and had heard that, he would agree with you for sure. Braden, your turn.
Yeah, I'm trying to think because I don't know. There's always this desire to be like, oh, let me say something great.
Yeah, like the thing. Yeah.
I think that like in every like wise relationship, you should pace yourself. And I think a young 3 has a lot in common. Maybe not even a young 3. A 3 and a 9 have a lot in common. And those are really good things. And they can become a lot. And then young 3, you might get nervous and then start to like change who you are. And I think what I would say is that as of 3, the most valuable thing to you from that 9 is that you probably cannot impress them and you can't convince them.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So true.
About
nines. Or maybe just me.
That you're the most stubborn person I know.
No.
But like nines are stubborn. Nines, they don't care about all of this stuff. They don't care about your ego. They don't care about like all of the peacocking and the fluff. They really do care about you. And they have a real gift of seeing your perspective. So I would say like don't overperform. It's hard to not. And like don't expect that you're going to convince them of anything, but also there's a real gift in that you will always get the truth. You'll always have someone you can depend on, someone who's reliable. 3s are often told, I don't know if this is true for you, Katie, people tell 3s and they tell me, you're really good at listening. And sometimes I go like, I think I am. But then when you're with a 3 and a 9 are together, there is this like, they are good at listening to each other. I think you should take that as a gift. Somebody who is going to give you an opportunity to talk about who you are. And there's not going to be this deep judgment. There's not going to be a performance check. There's not going to be any of this stuff going on because that doesn't truly matter to them. And so if you're uncomfortable with your past and there's embarrassment and shame and all of this stuff, yeah, I'll say it again. Like there's a real gift in being in a relationship with a 9 because you can process some of that and you don't have to be afraid that your relationship is going to be over if you tell an embarrassing story about 3rd grade. Yeah.
Right. Or if they see you experience an embarrassing story in real time.
Yeah.
That was, the first time Jace saw me do something really, really embarrassing, I was like, are you going to break up with me? He was like, why would I even think to do that?
I fell asleep at Lydia's house one time when we were friends we were watching Harry Potter. And there was like 6 or 7 of us there. And I fell asleep on the couch and like they took a picture of me. And I was like, this is literally rude. It's inappropriate. I'm sleeping. And now there's pictures of me without my permission going around. I'm like, so uncomfortable and Lydia's like, it's fine, hun. Like,
it's fine. It doesn't matter.
This doesn't change how I see you.
I still have the picture though.
Yeah, she won't delete it.
Right, and that's the thing is they will keep the picture.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, here's my last question. I always do kind of a time travel question. So we're going to time travel back to when you guys first started dating. So now it's your first week of dating, right? So I know I'm hearing that you've been friends already, but first week of dating, if you could talk to yourself at that point in time, what would you tell yourself to be most excited for, you know? Like if you could give yourself not really so much advice, but like some like you have so many good things ahead of you, right? What would you tell them?
Yeah, I think if I had like a younger me or a younger us, I would pull the curtain back a little bit and say, hey, you guys will get to do so many things together. You won't be alone. You will have like a companion you will have this best friend who truly knows you and truly sees you, and keep pouring your energy into this relationship. Keep asking a lot of questions, keep listening. And then one of the things that I would tell them to be excited about is you guys won't run out of things to talk about. Keep learning and you won't run out of things to talk about. There's not going to be this dead space. And I think that's just really rich in our relationship is we're always learning and always diving into topics, and there's always somewhere for us to talk and connect. And they should be excited about that.
Agreed.
Yeah. I think like similar note, like if I would to tell myself, like the younger me when we're first dating, I would say like, hey, this guy will listen to any and all of your passions, even if ones that you've never like spoken out loud before. And it's like you're actually allowed to talk about these things that you're passionate about, and it's really exciting to actually like talk about those things. And yeah, there'll be a lot of adventures to look forward to. A lot of things you'll see together. Yeah, a lot of things you'll experience for the first time together. Like going to the East Coast the first time together. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah, we went to Washington, D.C. for our honeymoon.
I love Washington. I grew up in Washington, D.C. I love Washington, D.C. It's the best city. It's the best city. Don't go to any other East Coast city. That was the best one.
That's fine.
Okay, well, great. Thank you both so much for being here. This was so fun. I like wish Jace was here so we could talk too. But this was lovely. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I love listening, and it's cool to talk and reflect on, what we've heard and like have a window into what our relationship is like and how talking about Enneagram has like enriched our conversations and given us language, because it's been 6 years of talking about this and answering questions and growing and changing, and it's brought us a lot. It's brought us closer. I think we'd still be really close.
Yeah, but it's like different.
Gives you language for things.
Yes.
And that's been really helpful in our relationship.
Yeah, because I'll come home, Lydia, I'm feeling like a 9 right now. And she was like, you got permission to rest. You got permission to relax. You're okay. Your job's done.
Yeah.
Or getting ready for a trip, and I'm like, Braden, I'm in 6 mode right now. I'm thinking of everything. We're packing,
spiraling.
We're getting all this stuff, and I cannot stop moving.
Too many socks.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
Jace does that at work too. He'll come home and be like, I'm spiraling out. So I'm like, okay. Of course. Okay, it was lovely. Thank you both.